My girlfriend said, I can't lose him, he's my best friend. She meant her ex, so I told her, cool, you can keep him. Then I packed my stuff. Now she has him, and my silence. I'm Alex, 28, male, and until last week I thought I was building a future with the woman I loved. Her name's Marissa, 27, female, and for almost 3 years she was everything I thought I wanted. Funny, sharp, adventurous in a way that made me feel alive. She could walk into a room and instantly own it, not because she was loud, but because she carried herself like she was the main character. And when she turned that light on me, God, it felt like nothing else mattered. The problem was always there, though, lurking in the corner of our relationship like a shadow she refused to shake. His name's Jason, 28, male, her ex, her best friend, the guy she dated from high school all the way into her early 20s, the one she swore she'd outgrown but never quite let go of. From the start, Jason wasn't just a ghost. He was present. Birthday dinners, concerts, movie nights where, somehow, he just happened to tag along. She'd always defend it with the same line, "He's my best friend, Alex. That doesn't go away just because you're insecure." And I swallowed it, over and over, because I wanted to be the easygoing boyfriend, the guy who wasn't controlling, the one who could handle the fact that his girlfriend had a male best friend who also happened to be her ex. But it ate at me in quiet ways. Every late-night text she brushed off, every Instagram story where he was standing way too close, every memory she shared that started with, Jason and I used to, for a long time, I told myself it was my own paranoia, that I'd been burned before and didn't want to admit I was projecting. But then came that night. We weren't fighting, not at first, just sitting in our apartment, me folding laundry, her scrolling through her phone. Somehow we drifted onto the topic of boundaries, of exes, of the future. I asked, gently, I thought, if she could imagine ever letting Jason fade out, just a little, so we could build something that was ours. She didn't even look up when she said it. I can't lose him, Alex. He's my best friend. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a discussion. It was a decree. Like she was laying down the terms of our relationship and I was just supposed to accept it. And something inside me snapped. All the nights I ignored my gut, all the times I told myself I was overreacting, all the times she made me feel small for even daring to question it, they all came crashing down in that single moment. So I told her, cool, you can keep him. Then I packed my stuff, no screaming, no throwing things, just silence and the sound of drawers closing as I shoved my clothes into a bag. She followed me around the apartment, panic flickering across her face for the first time, stammering things like, wait, I didn't mean it like that, please don't go. But I was done. She wanted Jason. She could have Jason. Now she has him. And my silence. When I left that night, I thought that was the end of it. My backpack was stuffed with enough clothes to get me through the week, and I crashed on my buddy Eric's couch. I expected maybe a few texts, a couple calls from Marissa begging me to come back. I didn't expect war. The first barrage hit my phone at 1 a.m. Missed calls, voicemails, texts stacked on top of each other until my notifications froze. At first, it was pleading. Please, Alex, don't do this. I didn't mean it like that. Jason's not a threat. I love you. By 2 a.m., it shifted to rage. You're pathetic. You always were jealous. If you walk away now, don't bother coming back. By 3 a.m., she was sending pictures of her crying in our bed, mascara streaking down her cheeks like she thought guilt-tripping me into sympathy would work. I turned my phone off. But ignoring her didn't mean she went away. The next morning, I drove back to the apartment to grab the rest of my stuff. The second I opened the door, it was like a tornado had blown through. My dresser drawers yanked out, clothes scattered, a picture frame with us at the beach shattered on the floor. Marissa was pacing barefoot, phone in hand, hair a mess, eyes wild. You weren't supposed to actually leave, she snapped like I'd violated some unspoken contract. I told you where I stood, Marissa, I said, trying to stay calm though my hands were shaking. I'm not competing with Jason. The second I said his name, she hurled her phone at the wall. It exploded into pieces, plastic and glass raining down. Then she collapsed onto the couch, clutching a throw pillow like it was a lifeline. You don't get it, she whispered, almost childlike. Jason's part of me. He always has been. But that doesn't mean I don't love you. And that was the knife twist. She wanted it all, me to play boyfriend, Jason to play best friend, and her never having to choose. I didn't even argue. I just started pulling my things out of the wreckage. My guitar case from the corner, my books, the few shirts she hadn't already scattered across the floor. She followed me from room to room, alternating between begging and accusing. When I got to the kitchen, she lost it. Grabbed the photo album I'd made her for our 2-year anniversary, the one with ticket stubs, Polaroids, handwritten notes, and ripped it in half right in front of me. "You don't just get to walk away like I meant nothing," she screamed, her voice cracking. But I did. I walked out with my arms full of bags, her shrieking echoing down the hallway as neighbors peeked out their doors. I loaded everything into my car, slammed the trunk, and sat there for a minute gripping the steering wheel. That was the moment it really hit me. Marissa wasn't going to let this end clean. And I was right. Because later that night when I checked Instagram, I saw a picture Jason had posted. Him and Marissa at a bar, her leaning into him, glass of wine in hand, captioned, "Some bonds can't be broken." The comments were already filling up. And my silence, it was louder than any response I could have given. Don't forget to subscribe. The post Jason made stuck in my head all night. Not because I cared that he had her, it was the smugness of it. The way he looked straight at the camera like he'd won. Like I'd been some placeholder until she came crawling back to him. By the next morning, it wasn't just Instagram anymore. Mutual friends started reaching out, some gently, some nosy. "Hey man, I saw Marissa's story, you two good?" Or the not-so-gentle, "Dude, did she really go back to Jason?" I didn't answer any of them. I thought silence would starve the drama. But silence just made Marissa louder. That Friday, she showed up at my job. I work in a mid-sized auto shop, the kind of place where grease gets under your nails no matter how many times you wash your hands. Around 10 a.m., while I was bent under the hood of a Civic, I heard the slamming of the shop's glass door. My coworker shouted, Alex, you've got company." I wiped my hands and turned, and there she was. Marissa, red-eyed, hair thrown up in a messy bun, storming across the shop floor like she owned it. And behind her, leaning in the doorway like he was watching a show, was Jason. "You blocked me?" she shouted, loud enough that the other mechanics stopped working. "After everything we've been through, you're just gonna ghost me?" I felt every set of eyes in the shop on me. My chest tightened with humiliation, but I forced my voice low. "Marissa, you need to leave." Jason laughed from the doorway. "She just wants closure, man. Don't be such an ass." Something snapped. I walked straight past Marissa and got in Jason's face. "You think this is funny, showing up where I work?" He smirked. "I'm not the one running away from his own girlfriend." That word, girlfriend, hit like a hammer. I shoved him back into the doorframe before I even realized what I was doing. The metal rattled. Customers gasped. My manager rushed over, shouting for everyone to break it up. Jason just raised his hands like he was some innocent bystander. Marissa clutched his arm, tears streaking her face now. "See? This is who he really is. Angry, controlling. This is why I need Jason." That cut deeper than the shove. Not because it was true, but because she knew exactly how to twist the knife. They left together, her clinging to him like I'd driven her into his arms. My coworkers stood in stunned silence, and my boss gave me the kind of look that said, "Don't let this shit come back into my shop again." When my shift finally ended, I sat in my truck staring at the steering wheel, heart pounding. They were playing this out in public now, dragging my name through dirt, painting me as the villain. And sure enough, by the time I got home, Marissa had already posted a story, her and Jason clinking glasses at some rooftop bar, captioned, "With the people who actually care." It was no longer just a breakup, it was a campaign, and I knew then I couldn't just sit silent forever. The rooftop bar post was the nail in the coffin for me. Seeing Marissa and Jason parading around like they were the perfect couple, like I was some bitter footnote, had me vibrating with rage. But instead of firing back, I stayed quiet. Silence isn't weakness, it's pressure, and I knew she hated pressure. Sure enough, silence drove her insane. By the end of the week, she was camped outside my new apartment. I'd barely signed the lease, hadn't even finished moving in, and there she was. Slouched against the hood of my car, cigarette in hand, mascara smudged like she hadn't slept. "You can't just erase me, Alex," she hissed when I walked up. "You don't get to cut me off like I'm disposable." I kept my voice flat. "Go home, Marissa." That's when she grabbed her keys and dragged them across the side of my car. Long, ugly screech of metal tearing. My stomach dropped. "What the hell is wrong with you? I snapped, shoving her back instinctively. She stumbled but didn't fall, just laughed. A hollow, sharp sound. Now you'll think of me every time you drive, won't you? Neighbors peeked out windows. Someone muttered about calling the cops. Marissa bolted before they showed, but the damage was done. My car was carved like a tombstone. I thought maybe Jason would keep her occupied enough to leave me alone, but no. She was doubling down. The next day, my sister called, voice tight. Alex, why is Marissa telling everyone you hit her? My blood froze. What? She posted this whole rant on Facebook, said you shoved her into a wall when she told you she loved Jason. People are commenting, asking if she's safe. It's, Alex, it looks bad. I felt the air leave my lungs. She was rewriting the story, turning me into the monster. And Jason? He was in the comments, dropping little supportive notes like, "You're so strong for speaking out." It was brilliant in the most disgusting way. By staying silent, I'd left her space to control the narrative. Now, half our mutual circle thought I was some abusive ex and Jason was her hero. That night, I sat in my wrecked car, staring at the scratches, fists clenched. I could feel my anger boiling over into something sharper, colder. They thought they'd humiliate me. They thought they'd take my voice and paint me into a villain. But the thing about silence? It doesn't mean surrender. It means planning. And that was the moment I decided. If they wanted to make me the villain, I'd show them what the real villain could do. Don't forget to subscribe. Update. Wow. I didn't expect this to blow up the way it did. I've been reading through the comments and messages for the past couple days, and honestly, I'm torn between laughing, crying, and punching a wall. First off, thank you to everyone who reached out with support. I've been beating myself up over this whole situation, wondering if I overreacted, wondering if I was the jealous psycho Marissa always made me feel like. But reading your words, seeing so many of you say, "No, Alex, that line was the deal breaker. She showed you who she was." It hit me like a damn truck. I wasn't crazy, I wasn't overreacting, I was being manipulated. And some of y'all cracked me up. Shout out to the guy who said, "Jason's just the dollar store version of Alex. Marissa went from steak to canned dog food." I laughed harder than I have in weeks. That being said, holy hell, some of you were brutal. I got DMs telling me to torch her car, send her parents screenshots of her meltdown, even one that said I should show up at Jason's work with a bullhorn yelling, "Enjoy your hand-me-downs." Tempting? Absolutely. But I'm not trying to end up in jail. Now, a few clarifications since a lot of people asked. No, I never laid a hand on Marissa. The abuse stuff she posted was pure fabrication. The only time I touched her was when she keyed my car and I shoved her back so she wouldn't scratch me too. She wasn't hurt, just pissed she couldn't play victim in that moment. Jason? He's eating this up. He's in her comments, holding her up like some survivor goddess. Dude's enjoying playing knight in shining armor when he's really just the rebound who never left. My car is trashed. Insurance might cover some of it, but every time I see those scratches, it's like they're carved into me instead. Here's the thing, though. Everyone in the comments kept saying the same phrase. She wants your reaction. Don't give it to her. And you're right, she's fueled by drama. She wants screaming, fighting, chaos. Silence is what drives her insane, but silence isn't enough anymore. Not for me. Because while she's been busy telling the world her story, I've been quiet, listening, watching, and I've learned a few things that neither she nor Jason thought I knew. Things that, when the time is right, are going to flip their little fairy tale upside down. So yeah, she has Jason, she has her posts, but what she doesn't know? I've got my own play to make, and I promise it's going to sting a hell of a lot longer than a scratched car or a Facebook rant. Stay tuned. I wasn't bluffing in that update. The thing about keeping quiet, you notice patterns. You hear things you're not supposed to hear. Marissa always overshared on social media. Jason was the same. Together, they were like a walking, talking Instagram feed. Every drink, every date night, every motivational quote posted like they were auditioning for a reality show. And buried in all that noise was their biggest weakness. Oversharing meant I knew where they'd be. The first move wasn't about blowing up their lives. It was about planting doubt, making them question each other. One Friday night, Marissa posted a story of her and Jason at a karaoke bar downtown. I recognized the place. It was one of our spots. The same bar where I'd taken her for her birthday the year before. Same neon sign, Same sticky floors. Only now, Jason was in my seat. I didn't comment, I didn't DM. Instead, I screenshotted the story and sent it, anonymously, to a girl I knew from Jason's circle, Amanda, someone he used to hook up with before Marissa dragged him back into her orbit. I added one line. Looks like he moved on quick, huh? It didn't take long. Within an hour, Amanda had reposted it with a snarky caption about some people never changing. Jason tried to clap back in the comments, but the damage was done. Marissa was tagged, people were whispering, and suddenly their perfect couple image had a crack in it. The next morning, Marissa showed up at my apartment again. This time she was full meltdown mode, banging on the door, screaming through the hallway. I know you're behind this, Alex. I didn't answer. I just let her scream until the neighbor across the hall threatened to call the cops. She left claw marks on my doorframe as a goodbye present. Here's the thing, though. Her outburst only made my plan stronger. Because now I knew exactly how far she'd go to protect this illusion she and Jason were selling. And illusions? They're fragile. So I went deeper. I started gathering screenshots. Every post, every tagged photo, every late-night rant she'd made about me. I wasn't building a case for the police. I was building a story, their story, told in their own words. And when the time came, I was going to drop it where it hurt the most. Meanwhile, Jason was playing cocky. He actually DM'd me, after one of their posts. Just a simple, "Hope you're doing okay, man," with a winking emoji. I stared at it for a long time. My fists ached from clenching. But instead of firing back, I just laughed. Because Jason had no idea I was already setting the fuse. Marissa wanted Jason. Jason wanted the spotlight. Fine. I'd give them both exactly what they wanted. Just not in the way they thought. And when it hit, it wouldn't just be a breakup story anymore. It would be a performance. One they couldn't walk away from. I'd been sitting on that pile of screenshots and saved posts for weeks. Every rant Marissa had written about me, every lovey-dovey caption she dropped about Jason 2 days after I left, every smug comment he'd made on her threads. It was all lined up like dominoes. And the perfect stage presented itself. Jason's birthday party. They'd been hyping it for weeks on Instagram. Downtown rooftop bar, everyone invited, dress code flashy. Jason wanted the night to be about him, but Marissa was clearly making it about them as a couple. She'd posted 3 separate times about how excited she was to celebrate love and life with her favorite person. The kicker? A handful of mutual friends were going, which meant my absence would already be noticeable, so I made sure my presence was felt. The night of the party, while they were posing for pictures under neon lights, I dropped my little package of truth. Screenshots stitched together into a single, seamless timeline, her telling me she couldn't lose Jason, her stories of them clinking glasses days after I left, Jason's smug DM to me, the Facebook post where she painted me as abusive. No captions, no commentary. Just their own words and images, stacked in a way that told the whole story without me saying a single thing. And I didn't post it on my page. I sent it directly to everyone tagged in their party posts. Friends, coworkers, even Marissa's sister. The explosion was instant. My phone lit up with notifications. Not messages to me, but people tagging them, commenting under their photos, asking things like, "Wait, didn't you two just get back together the day Alex moved out?" Or, "This is shady as hell." By midnight, their birthday photos were flooded with comments calling them hypocrites, cheaters, liars. Someone even screenshotted the timeline and dropped it into the bar's public Facebook page where strangers were chiming in. And here's where it gets good. Marissa lost it. According to one friend who texted me later, she started screaming at Jason in the middle of the bar, accusing him of being sloppy, of letting his old hookups spread rumors. Jason tried to calm her down, but she threw her drink in his face, right there, in front of everyone. Glass shattered, liquid everywhere. People filmed it. Videos went up before the night was even over. By the next morning, their perfect couple image was in flames. Jason's coworkers had seen the clips. Marissa's own sister posted a vague status about being done defending toxic behavior. Their whole circle now knew exactly what had gone down, because I'd let their own words do the talking. When I finally checked my DMs, I saw one from Marissa. "I hope you're proud of yourself, you ruined everything." I didn't respond. I just stared at it, smiling. Because no, Marissa, I didn't ruin anything. You handed me the matches. I just lit the fuse. Update 2. Well, that escalated fast. First off, to everyone who said, play the long game, let them bury themselves. You were right. I just gave them a little push and they did the rest. So yeah, Jason's birthday party, absolute disaster. A couple of you predicted they'd turn on each other, but I didn't expect that. Videos are everywhere now. Marissa screaming, Jason with a face full of vodka cranberry, people filming the whole meltdown like it was an episode of Jerry Springer. One clip even hit TikTok under the caption, "When your girl's still obsessed with her ex." Last I checked, it had 80K views. The fallout has been insane. Jason's coworkers roasted him so hard in their group chat that he rage quit for the night. Marissa's sister DM'd me to say, "Thank you for finally exposing her. I'm tired of covering for her lies." That one hit me weird. I didn't realize how many people already suspected the truth but stayed quiet. And my favorite part? The DMs from people at the party. One guy sent me a shaky video of Marissa throwing her drink with the caption, "Bro, your silence hit harder than anything you could have said. She snapped." But here's the thing. Not everyone's cheering. I've gotten some nasty messages too, stuff like, "Real mature, airing private drama," and "You just proved you're bitter." A couple of Marissa's friends have been spamming my inbox with, "You'll regret this, Jason is better for her anyway." Cute. And then there was her. Marissa called me. 16 times. I didn't answer. Then she left this long voicemail, sobbing, saying, "I just wanted to keep both of you in my life. I didn't mean to hurt you." Followed immediately by a second voicemail, screaming, "You destroyed me, Alex, you're evil. I hope you rot." Two voices, one after the other, guilt, then rage. That's her in a nutshell. Here's where I stand now. I don't feel guilty, not even a little. For the first time since all this started, I feel clean, like I washed off the filth of being her second choice. Jason can have her. She can have her drama. They can both choke on it together. But me? I've got my silence back. And after seeing what it does to her, I think that's the sweetest revenge of all. Silence should have been the end. After the party meltdown, I thought Marissa and Jason would lick their wounds and slink back into whatever toxic comfort they gave each other. But if there's one thing I should have learned by now, it's this. Marissa doesn't go quietly. 3 nights after the party, I came home from work to find my apartment door wide open. My stomach dropped. Inside, it looked like a storm had torn through. Drawers yanked out, clothes tossed, my guitar case cracked open. And in the middle of it, sitting cross-legged on my couch like she lived there, was Marissa. She had one of my hoodies pulled over her knees, her face blotchy from crying. On the coffee table in front of her was the photo album she'd ripped in half weeks ago, taped back together with strips of duct tape. "You didn't let me explain," she whispered, eyes hollow. "I never wanted to lose you, Alex. Jason doesn't understand me the way you do." For a moment, my chest clenched, some reflexive pull of the man who once loved her. But then my eyes fell on my front door, the lock busted clean through, and the wave of rage drowned out everything else. "You broke into my place?" I snapped. "Are you out of your mind?" She flinched, then launched straight into hysteria. "You ruined me. Everyone thinks I'm crazy because of you. Jason's furious. My friends won't talk to me. Do you know what it's like to be the villain in your own story?" I laughed, sharp and bitter. "You wrote that story yourself." Her face twisted, the tears giving way to fury. She stood, grabbed the taped-up album, and hurled it at the wall. Pages fluttered down like dead leaves. "You think silence makes you strong? No, it makes you a coward!" she screamed, pounding her fists against her chest. Before I could react, a new voice cut through the chaos. "Marissa, what the hell are you doing?" Jason, standing in the doorway, his eyes wide as he took in the scene, the broken lock, the trashed room, Marissa shrieking like a banshee. For once, he didn't look smug. He looked scared. Marissa spun toward him, desperate. "He still loves me, Jason. I can feel it. He won't admit it, but he does." Jason's jaw clenched. "You're insane," he muttered. "I'm done with this." And just like that, he turned and walked. No grand speech, no final blow, just slammed the door and left her standing there, shaking. She crumpled to the floor, sobbing into her hands, while I stood frozen in the wreckage of what used to be my life with her. In that moment, I realized something. She hadn't chosen Jason over me. She hadn't chosen me over Jason. She couldn't stand to be without both of us feeding her chaos, and now she had neither. I picked up my phone, dialed the cops, and told her flatly, "You're leaving, Marissa. One way or another." The cops showed up faster than I expected. Two officers knocked while Marissa was still crumpled on my floor, her sobs echoing in the apartment. When they stepped inside, she shot up like a cornered animal. "He called you?" she shrieked, pointing at me. "I'm his girlfriend. I belong here. He can't do this to me." The younger cop exchanged a look with me, then back at her. "Ma'am, you broke into his apartment. That's not how relationships work." Her voice cracked, climbing an octave. "He's lying. He's trying to erase me. Jason's turned him against me, but Alex still loves me. He does, I know he does." She lunged toward me then, clutching my hoodie like it was proof. One officer pulled her back gently but firmly. The other told me I had two options: press charges or let them escort her out and issue a warning. I looked at her, wild-eyed, clutching duct-taped scraps of the photo album she'd destroyed, mascara smeared down her cheeks. And for the first time, I didn't feel anger. I felt nothing. "Press charges," I said. My voice didn't shake. That was the moment it was over. They cuffed her, still screaming my name, promising to make me pay, swearing Jason was nothing and I was her real love. Neighbors lined the hallway, phones out, filming as she was dragged past them in cuffs. Her meltdown wasn't private anymore. It was public, raw, humiliating, and she'd done it to herself. Jason never came back. Word spread fast through their circle that he'd ghosted her completely, blocked her on everything. Without him to prop up her story, without me to fight her battles, she was left to face the fallout alone. In the days that followed, my phone stayed eerily quiet. No more voicemails, no late-night pounding on my door. Just silence, and for the first time in months, it wasn't heavy, it was clean. I fixed the lock, repainted the door frame, replaced the shattered picture frames she'd left behind. Slowly, the apartment stopped feeling like a crime scene and started feeling like mine. Just mine. And when I finally slid behind the wheel of my scarred-up car, I didn't see her vandalism anymore. I saw a reminder. Those scratches weren't wounds, they were scars. Proof I'd survived her. She said once, "I can't lose him. He's my best friend." Well, now she's lost him. She's lost Jason too. And me? I kept the only thing she couldn't handle. Silence. The kind that doesn't scream, doesn't beg, doesn't explain. The kind that means freedom.